super, but a very warm welcome to everybody. And Team.i has launched this entire wedding series, and we are on the number 2, the second one of the same. We have this very great gentleman who's stuck, I think, right now. Sam from Riyadh. Sam, are you there? Yeah, so no, Sam is stuck and he's having some technical glitches. Riyadh is a good place. I know that they have great internet connectivity, but Sam apparently doesn't at this point of time. But while Sam comes back and he's out, I'm going to ask Ananya to introduce Sam to us, tell us more about Sam. Maybe you can make it a little elongated, Ananya, and talk as much about Sam as you can, because Sam has got some connectivity issues, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So all yours, Ananya.
So good evening, everyone. Today, as you guys know, we just met Sam. He's going to be talking about destination weddings. So Sam Herzallah is an art and archaeology as well as tourism and performing arts graduate. He's from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and he has worked for the UN and presented TV shows as well. But he has always been passionate about tourism and event management, and his involvement in the industry dates back to 1996. So he's pretty experienced. He's been in the industry for a while now. He is also the COO of a London-based company called Tetrapylon, and he is which is a leading DMC and inbound tour operator specialized in Middle East region. And Tetrapylon was one of the first foreign tourism companies to start operating in Saudi Arabia. And Sam is the company director over there. And he will be, as I said, he'll be speaking about destination wedding and also how Saudi Arabia is the up and coming prime destination for weddings. So that's about Sam.
Superb. Thank you so much, Ananya. Thank you so much. And I think Sam is struggling, but yeah, he will be with us soon enough. And yeah, so while Sam is coming in, let's try and understand, and this is for the students of wedding planning and event management of tomorrow, the future of the nation and the world, is that today we are going to be talking to a tour operator, right? And how a tour operator like Sam, okay, is a integral part of wedding planning, right? Sam, welcome back.
Thank you. Just sorry about that. So take 2. Now we're connected now.
No worry, no take 2. We have only one take because we're event managers, right?
Exactly.
There is no chance for a take 2. There is only take 1, right? So coming back to Sam and the kind of things that he does, and he works for this London-based company, and he's a tour operator. He's a guy who's talking to tourism ministries across the globe. He's talking to people who need to visit. Currently, he's doing a lot of work with Saudi. But I'm going to hand this over to Sam. Sam, introduce yourself. Tell us a lot more about yourself and about wedding planning as a career for wannabe wedding planners and people who are already been in the business for some time. All yours, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I manage Tetrapylon in Saudi Arabia. It's a company that is based in London with offices in different countries, especially in the Middle East. We are specialized in the Middle East. So we have in Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, Qatar, Dubai. The idea is we are a DMC. So basically we only work business to business. That's the main idea. And like in every single new business adventure, we always look for innovation, for creativity, for potential. What we talked about, especially for Saudi Arabia, for example, now, everyone knows Saudi Arabia, but nobody knows what is Saudi Arabia is all about. So it's the largest known mysterious country in the world. When people think about Saudi Arabia, probably they will think about like the oil industry, desert. Some people know about the sea, only Riyadh, Jeddah, maybe Khubar, but that's it. Actually, it's way more than that. That's why since 2018, we're thinking about the potential of starting a business in Saudi Arabia. And in 2019, once Saudi Arabia started issuing the e-visa, we actually opened the first foreign tourism company in Saudi Arabia. I'm mentioning Saudi Arabia because it's a good example of innovation into creativity and into finding the good potential. We came to Saudi Arabia, it was way more than what we expected. The country is over 2 million square kilometers. It has mountains going up to 10,000 feet. It has greenery, it has rivers, it has waterfalls, it has beautiful seas, it has beautiful beaches. So the country is like a cosmos, like a mini cosmos. It's many countries in one. So when you think about the wedding industry, spousal industry, again, we are no longer in the concept of just having some family and friends in one place and celebrating the wedding. It's also now about discovering. So that's why when we go abroad, when we invite our friends to go abroad to have our ceremony, until that day, it is the most important day of our lives. Some people think it will always be the most important day for their lives. Others think when they lose their kids or have their kids or something. So when they have kids, that is the most important day of their lives. So basically what we try to do is always to combine tourism and spousal industry. So we go for the festivities, we go for having fun, to be joined by family and friends, but at the same time, discover something new, to discover a new destination, a new country, to go and visit. Indians obviously throw the best weddings in the whole world. I've been to weddings in India and they are unforgettable. They are the most amazing weddings. And it's really not easy to beat that or to be at the same par. But this is where creativity comes into hand and into play. When you work with experts, from choosing the location, to choosing the date, to finding the good acts, to coming with even the menu, the decor, the tables, the food that is being served, how it is served, how people are welcomed. So we always try to find something that is creative, innovative. Nothing can be done for the first time, but there are always many, many times to do the same thing time and time again.
Absolutely fantastic. I heard just this morning, okay, that Saudi now is setting up VFS offices for giving out visas, especially they're looking at India as a great market. Is that right?
Actually, India is a huge market. It's a huge target. It is not a big market for Saudi now. It is a big target. And even the authorities here are talking about very promising numbers. And the aim is the numbers that they're aiming for. I'm not going to go into details now because nothing is official yet. But the numbers are huge and they will give any facility to welcome and to support companies that will deal and promote Saudi Arabia and India.
Absolutely. So Saudi Arabia is now opening up. They are actually in the process of, I am not, we should not be talking about this like Sam says right now, but you people look out, okay, for all the people listening in. Saudi is going to be the new destination, okay, the venues that are there, the mountains, all of these descriptions that Sam was just talking about. It's a destination where people would love to go, and it's something that the future wedding planners, here is one more country where you can do destination weddings, right? But tell me, Sam, uh, moving on what criteria should a couple or the family choose a destination?
First of all, obviously, budget plays a very, very important role because we can have many, many dreams, but and we are limited or not limited at all by the budget. So the budget plays a very, very important role. Secondly, timing. Is it a good timing? Is it the season? Is it the rainy season? Is it good weather or not? So timing is key as well. And third, it is also usually what are the interests of a couple. If a couple is interested into like snow and ski and stuff, obviously we cannot suggest Saudi Arabia at all.
Right.
But if a couple is interested in scuba diving, it is an amazing place to be here with the Red Sea and the virgin beaches that you have along the Red Sea. Also, one factor that we found sometimes it's key. Sometimes with some of the guests being elderly, we have also to consider the time spent on flights, because sometimes we want our elderly to join us on our festivities, but will they be able to do it or not? Obviously, when somebody's parents are elderly, you're not going to suggest them to take like a direct flight of like 14 or 16 or 18 hours. So that's also a key factor. And most importantly, what can be done in this destination? Once the budget is set, once the budget is not an issue, our dreams, we all have dreams. Could these dreams become reality in this destination or not? And this is the research that has to be done, and it has to be done with experts. So you get a correct answer, straightforward, without wasting any time.
Absolutely. You see, a tourist operator, if I may call you that, okay, Sam,
Yes.
how closely associated he is with the wedding industry. He's able to talk to you the no bullshit thing. No, whatever he said, there's no bullshit about it. That, you look here, you look at money being number one. One of the most important things that I learned today is about the elderly parents and the journey time, right? Yeah. This is something that I learned. I didn't know this. I mean, I would have thought about this. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a wedding planner. That's a different story. But I have never thought about this point. And it's something that I've learned today. Thank you so much for that, Sam.
You're welcome.
But tell me more about tourism and weddings and how venues play an important part. And maybe you want to talk about some of the venues in Saudi. How important it is to get weddings to happen in a venue to attract tourism. And this is something which is brand new, wedding tourism that we're talking about all your side.
Being in the tourism industry opens doors because we deal on daily basis with airlines, with hotels, with businesses, with meetings, large meetings, small meetings, events, artists coming to the country, acts coming, dignitaries coming. So basically that gives us a wider spectrum of connection and a wider spectrum of expertise, because we get to see more, because we are not restricted to one part of the business. Plus, doing this, we are also in touch with different regions in the country. We don't focus on big cities or anything. And that gives us also the opportunity to think about places that are completely out of the box. Why not having a massive, huge wedding in the middle of the desert in some of the massive tents? If you are restricted to thinking within the box of venues, I can deal with this catering company, or I can deal with 3 or 4 different hotels or venues, we are completely restricted. We are not open enough to see outside the box. That's why we don't have one size fits all. When somebody wants to talk to us about the wedding, we start from scratch. I want to understand, first of all, I want to see and understand the couple, what they want, what they expect from their wedding, and what their surrounding and the close ones and their loved ones, what they also expect from this wedding. So we take a blank sheet and we start from scratch. The venue is one part, the catering is one part, the acts are one part, festivities are one part, the season, everything. So we start filling the blanks. But again, it doesn't have to be restricted to one area or one venue or anything. Tried and tested is always very good, but coming with something new is even more important. With time, it will become tried and tested.
This is like what we talk about in every session of mine. It's all about the unconventional and the conventional, tried and tested versus what can be done, right? What
Exactly.
new can be done. Yeah.
If we stick to tried and tested, we will never go and visit a new destination. And for example, if I take, since we're talking about Saudi Arabia, part of the adventure into coming into Saudi Arabia is going into a place that we don't know much about. And some people still, I know that some people say the infrastructure is not fully there. We don't have enough hotels in a certain region or something. That is part of the adventure. Within few years, when all the infrastructure is set up, everyone will be able to come. It's no longer part of being, one of the first people who visited when the country was still opening up. It will be a destination, an amazing destination, a beautiful destination. Nevertheless, I won't be a pioneer in visiting. I won't be a pioneer in starting a business. I won't be one of the first ones who came there when there was nothing in this region. There was no hotels in this area. I had to camp here because there was no other options. So even what some people consider as difficulty, for others, it is part of the adventure. It is actually what makes the destination interesting.
Absolutely. And that's what makes an entrepreneur who's able to
Exactly.
go out and look, even though you are working for a company. I mean, I look at you as an entrepreneur. And I met you. I thought you were one of the most exciting guys in that entire crowd where I met. Now I can't tell everybody where I met you because they'll think everybody else was boring, right? But that was very interesting meeting up with you, Sam. Thank you for the time that you spent with me that day and now. Uh,
All pleasure.
so would I be right in what I said in the beginning of this conversation? Is that tourism ministries today use wedding destinations within their countries to attract tourism? Will I be right? Can you expand on this?
Actually, it could also be the other way around. Promotion is a promotion. When you promote when you do promotion for the wedding industry in your country, you are doing exposure to your country. When people come, actually, there's a main factor. I've been to many places for weddings, and I thought I didn't have enough time to visit the country. So I went back. So it's some sort of indirect promotion, actually. It's a marketing tool. Same thing when you do it, when you promote tourism in your country, you're also putting more exposure to this country. Again, when somebody's thinking about planning their own wedding, they will think about this country that's been in the media, that's been in the news, that's been being promoted. It's a marketing tool that works on both sides. When you promote tourism industry, it will help the wedding industry and vice versa.
Yeah, tourism is capped. Wedding is just one part of it. And I think that's a tool, like you rightly pointed out. Weddings are a tool to promote tourism. That would the way I would like to look at it. Coming back to something that you said earlier in terms of choosing the country and choosing a new country. Okay. Uh, we don't have to dwell too much about this, but how important is it for me to think if my religious ceremonies will be accepted in that country?
Definitely, there's a research that has to be done. And this is one of the key questions we ask and we answer before planning anything.
Right.
Because when we visit a country, obviously, going to a new destination, going to a new place, by de facto, we have to show respect to the traditions and to the religion and to the practices in this country. If our practices are not accepted, we have the choice. Either we don't go or we decide not to practice them while we are in this new place.
Absolutely. And this is for all people listening in. This is very important. We have to consider things like vegetarianism, non-vegetarianism, pork, beef, which are the problem areas when we talk about food, alcohol, wine, cheese, women, uh, dancing, you know. So these are, I mean, we have gone far ahead on the subject of wedding planning right now. Okay. But we will come back to it for the people listening in other sessions. But right now we've gone far ahead. We are talking about something very deep, okay, of while choosing a venue, okay, or a country as the case may be where Sam comes from, you have to be very, very careful, right? Small things you will not realize, okay, because in my country, and most listeners right now are from India, there are vegetarians, right? Vegetarians who will not eat food cooked, which was previously cooked in a non-vegetarian vessel, right? So I'm getting really deep here on this entire thing, right? So we need to think about these things, okay? And one of
It also runs for the Muslim faith. A lot of practicing Muslims, they refuse to eat anything that was cooked in anything that was used for pork before.
pork, right?
So,
And
exactly.
we have to be sensitive. So this is not cultural differences. It is just being sensitive to somebody else's way of life. Now, tomorrow you want to do a wedding in a London or a Paris or a New York or a Saudi or in Dubai. You have to know way in advance how these people operate, right? Now, I will say doing a vegetarian reception in a Middle East country, okay, is very difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible. It is happening. It happens, right? But it's going to be very, very difficult. How are you going to be able to take that forward? So, Sam, moving on, let's get on to. Would you like to talk to us about some specific venues in Saudi and Riyadh and some distinct factors about them?
When it comes to venues, let's divide them into, let's say, three main categories. So first of all, when it comes to hotels, you have some of the biggest chains in the world that are present in Riyadh, they are present in Jeddah, and many other places in the kingdom. Also, if you go to Al Ula, which is the landmark now in Saudi, so you have the resorts like Shadin and Habitas. Again, this could be an amazing place for a wedding. Amazing. The other thing is when we don't go into hotels and you have venues that are specifically large venues that are specifically for weddings. Also, they are available in every city you can think of in Saudi Arabia. And the third one, which I mentioned before, is when you go outside the box and when you plan something outdoors. It could be in a mountainous area like in the south of Saudi. It can be in the desert near Al Ula or even more north up towards Tabuk. And again, everyone has its own charm. I'm not going to say any is like being in a hotel is better or not. Everything has its own charm. Obviously, when you go into the outdoor, the logistics are different. It's more hard work. But again, I think the results are quite satisfactory when, again, you do something and you feel for the rest of your life, you did something unique that nobody did exactly the same like what you did. So that stays with you.
You know, I think this is a great time to get married in Saudi. And you're talking about Alola. I remember seeing a video about, I mean, it looks like ruins. It looks like places in my country, the Tipu Sultan and all of these things, you know, where the architecture is so beautiful, but it's in ruins. And now Saudi has planned to renovate, and these places are going to get changed. They are never going to look the same again. And I know how fast your country is going to make that change, right? Okay.
The thing is, for example, if you take Al Ula,
Hmm.
so Al Ula has a wonderful archaeological site from the Nabatean period.
Right.
And it's an absolutely wonderful, wonderful site. But also Al Ula itself, or the region itself, I'm not talking just about Al Ula, the whole region there, the rock formation, the colors, when you go stargazing at night, it is just an experience that is out of this world. And everything I mentioned now, everything could be included in the design of your agenda for a successful wedding?
Right.
Who said that a wedding has to be just at night or just during the day? Who said that a wedding just has to have like dancing and music and stuff? Many, many elements could be added, could be tweaked, could be modified to suit a wedding and to come up with something new.
We are doing a wedding with you in a venue of your choice on the 23rd of May, 2023.
Sorry, say it again.
I say we are doing a wedding
Okay.
in a venue of your choice on 23rd of May, 2023. Next year.
I'll be more than happy to be involved.
Right. Super. Fantastic. Yeah. So questions, people, and in the meanwhile, Sam, what else would you like to add on?
I want people, basically, the idea is many people are opinionated. Just go, listen to others. Take what you think is positive, what pushes you forward, but don't make a judgment until you go and see. Learn from your own mistakes. It's not bad. Learning from your own mistakes, it's not bad. And going into the unknown can only be beneficial because we can only learn for the future. So when we hear about a destination, not just Saudi, any destination, sometimes, and this is when it puts me off, when somebody's talking, and there's one thing that puts me off in any conversation of when I'm listening to somebody, when people generalize, when they stigmatize. So when you say this nationality, or this country, or this region, or this continent. When I was at university, one of my professors taught me something that stuck with me until now. I would never forget. You lose an argument once you generalize. You can't say the whole nationality. You don't have one whole nationality that is exactly the same. This country, every country has differences, has different areas, different regions, different beliefs, different approaches. So basically, whatever we hear about any destination, let it be for the wedding industry or for tourism, read about it. This is also very important. Before you go and venture, it's also good to know and to learn about it, because it's very important to respect the cultures of others. Exactly what you mentioned before. Reading and preparing yourself before going is very, very important, but letting go at the same time is as important. Just go there and discover, because no matter how much you read or you watch TV or documentaries and stuff, one day in a new destination is worth more than these whole combined.
You're an amazing human being, Sam. You know, the whole piece you said about letting go, it reminds me of, I'm going to go off on a tangent for a minute with your permission. It's a very old saying. A lot of you must have heard it, including you, Sam. It says that at the end of life, only three things matter. Yeah. One, how deeply you loved. Right. Two, how easily you let go of things. And the third is what you said just now. Right. That's the only three things that matter at the end of the life. Okay. If you're able to handle this, it's going to be fantastic. Questions, people in the audience? Jansi, any question? Yes, please. Let me put you on.
Sir, is there any specific government process that we have to go through while having a destination wedding in other country? And what's in the case of Dubai?
No, he's Saudi. Dubai is
Saudi.
Saudi Arabia.
It doesn't matter. We have an
whatever
office. We have an office in Dubai, but the line cut off. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sir, is there any government process we have to go through the process that we have to fill in order to have a destination wedding in other country?
Okay. I'm not just talking about the Indian market. For Saudi, there's a list of countries that can have the e-visa upon arrival, Other countries have to apply for visas before. And I'm not just talking about Saudi now, but most countries in the world now. The processes are usually filling applications before even boarding the plane. And while arriving, it depends on destination, you have the PCR test and stuff. Going back to Saudi Arabia, once you decide to go to Saudi Arabia, if you are on the list of countries that can take an e-visa, which is online, there is nothing else apart from filling an app called Mukim, where you have to upload your vaccination details, and another one called Tawakkalna that gives you access to all the public places in Saudi itself. And since you are talking about weddings as well, Arabs share something with Indians. They don't like things in small portions. They don't like them in medium portions.
Large.
So everything, even when you talk, they take pride actually in preceding everything they want to describe, or not even describing, mentioning anything by, they always like to proceed with the largest, the tallest, the widest, the deepest. It always has to be something unique. Same applies for weddings. When you have a wedding in Saudi Arabia, you have to expect that everything will be grandiose. And I know I was asked a question 2 days ago when it comes to music and stuff. Saudi Arabia is encouraging the music and it's encouraging arts in general. Actually, Saudi Arabia wants to become a hub, a financial hub, a touristic hub, an artistic hub. That's why you have the Riyadh season, for example, and you have all the concerts taking place in Al-Ula. So once you decide on the venue, once you decide on many other places, the entertainment, the sky is the limit. Any act you can think of that doesn't go against the tradition or the country or anything, but any act that you can think of, think big, add a bit more, and this could be brought to Saudi Arabia. And I'm saying this because I saw it here, I tested, I saw it myself, I saw it happening here. And the thing is, unlike the tourism industry, I think there is a big sense of privacy when it comes to weddings. And that's why whatever I mentioned little things that I saw in weddings without mentioning where it was or whose wedding it was or anything. For me, a wedding is something really private. The only people who are allowed to talk about the only ones who are allowed to talk about the wedding are the newlyweds and their guests, and that's it.
Nice. Good, Jansi. Was your question answered? Great. Is there any more questions? Surabhi Sinha wants to ask a question. Let me get it on.
Yes. So hi, sir. My question would be, what if couple doesn't have any place in mind and ask for your suggestion for venue? What are the key points that you keep in your mind while suggesting them a destination that would be like for their venue, for their special day?
Okay. First of all, age really matters. So we have to see about the age of the newlyweds. Secondly, we go into their interests on day-to-day basis, artistic interests, sports interests. So we try to find something in common between the newlyweds and something that could be a key for us to find something new. Third, how big is the wedding going to be? I cannot suggest something that is amazing for a small wedding of like 50 or 100 people and try to apply it for a wedding of like 600 or 1,000 people. Again, budget will be a factor. I wish budget was not a factor, but the reality is it is one of the main factors because we can dream big, but then have to do it. It doesn't have to be small, but we can find always ways. But having the budget not being an issue will definitely make things easier. Basically, I think the most important thing when I want to suggest to a couple something, I think the interest of this couple, what they like. This is a memorable day for them. And obviously finding something that is key for them and putting it like on a magnitude of importance that will give like a twist to the wedding. And again, it will bring good memories whenever they thought about their wedding.
Thank you.
Super, super, super fantastic. Any more questions?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, not one.
Oh, wow.
Shall I note them down?
Hi, so my name is Rashmita.
Hey.
My first question would be something attached to what Surbhi asked. Now, imagine you have a very shy couple and they're not, very outspoken, right? How do you bring out things from them?
I talk to the parents. Parents and friends will bring the, no matter how, when I'm planning something, before I see the couple or something, how much time would I spend with them? Hours, days, weeks? Nobody will be spending months with the couple. Their parents and friends, they have spent years with them. So being shy sometimes only the facade, like people sometimes they hide behind the facade without doing it on purpose. They don't do it willingly, but it is a facade. And the only people that know how to push this facade away are definitely the parents and close friends.
A little personal question to you. What do you showcase yourself as? Is it a person from the a person who does events and weddings, or a person who wants to showcase what Saudi Arabia is? What do you personally like showcasing yourself about?
I wish I could showcase myself in just like one category, as you said, because if you talk about like nationality, I'm mixed. My background, I studied archaeology, tourism, theater. Then I did a master's in archaeology and a master's in public policy strategy and management. What I like to say is I'm in the tourism industry. I like showing new places. I like showcasing new destinations. I like bringing different nationalities to new destinations. But at the same time, it's not just to go and visit one specific type of things or one category. I'll give you an example. When you go to a destination and you only visit historical and archaeological sites, you didn't visit the country. If you go to a destination, you don't eat their food, you did not visit the country. If you go to a destination and you don't go to natural sites, you didn't do the whole visit. If you don't do some activities, you didn't. But most importantly, and that is key, if you don't go and meet locals, and by meeting locals, I don't mean like saying hi, no. You have to go sit with locals, have a meal, like a local meal with locals, have conversations about their upbringing, about their parents, differences, changes, what they think of you, what about your nationality, about your faith. So having open conversations with locals, this is the only way for you to learn anything about a new civilization, a new culture, a new country, a new faith, anything. So mingling with others, it is key. That's definitely the key.
So we talk so much about destination weddings. What is your definition of a destination wedding? How would you define a destination wedding?
Destination wedding, somewhere that is, hopefully when I suggest something to a couple, it would be something they didn't think of before. So for the destination to be a surprise, this is already a success. Secondly, when you manage to keep the couple and the guests like happy and satisfied, and for them to love this destination, you did a great service and a favor for both. You did it for the country that is hosting the wedding, because you are promoting, because this couple will be, when they go back, they will be ambassadors for this destination. And at the same time, when a destination is suitable for the needs and the specifics of a couple, you gave them an unforgettable experience, let it be a day or a week. I know you love 1 week weddings in India, but let it be a wedding of a few hours or a week. Those moments are priceless. Those memories are priceless.
Also, so when it comes to production part of weddings, how do you handle that? Like, there are a few things that would not be available in your premise. Like, how do you procure them? This is something I want to know. the production part. For example, there are flowers that are very necessary.
May
Yeah,
not want
because,
to answer that
yeah,
question.
specifically for this question, it has to be itemized. Here, because I'm not going to generalize here, but it has to be itemized because usually when money is not an issue, you can bring anything. You can use a plane to bring it. You can hire experts. You can bring people to do it in the destination itself. So I can't really answer about all. It really has to go into specifics to answer you like item by item. But again, there's always creative ways to make things happen. And when money is not a big issue, you can fly anything nowadays. You can bring anything nowadays. You can bring any expert, fly them in. It also works for artists. You can bring nowadays. You can have any act, any type of act, any type of activity, any artist. When you have the required budget, you already like 80% of your worries are already behind you.
Bottom line is money and budget. And I'm going to tell you a story that I heard from an interesting gentleman whose name I'm forgetting right now. But he told me about a wedding that he did in Dubai, and where there were 2,000 guests, and who were all flown from across the world. And for those 2,000 guests, there were X number of center tables, and every center table had a centerpiece flower, right? Which were brought in 8 airplanes from France, right? So that's the kind of money we're talking about. And then at the last moment, they decided to invite 300 more guests. And that means that centerpiece had to come again from France, because the wedding planner would not compromise on that to say that we will use anything else. It had to go with the entire setup, right? So money is a very, very important part of weddings for sure. Yeah, think about it. Any other questions, Rashmita?
That's it.
One of my best memories ever. I went to a wedding in India. A very good friend of mine got married in India. He was a French diplomat living in India. And actually, we all had to learn a Bollywood dance for the wedding.
That's a
And
must.
actually, that wedding happened just over 3 years ago now. And every time I look at the pictures or I even remember the wedding, I have this moment. We had to practice for like a week. The dance itself took maybe 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, probably around 3 minutes.
2-3 minutes.
But it is still, and it will be with me. It will stick with me for the rest of my life, right? The Indians in this wedding were a minority. We were like in a really an international wedding happening in Delhi itself.
Right.
And we did this dance. And actually, that was one of my best and favorite memories of this wedding.
We Indians are nuts. And we rub off our nationality on everybody, but that's okay. We are ready to buy yours also. So anything that you would like to add on, Sam, to the viewers, to the listeners today?
I would very much, you mentioned now about the wedding that is happening next year. And I think the best way for the Indian market to see the potential in Saudi Arabia is to see it happening. So once you have a few courageous ones who will take the initiative to have a plan, to plan a wedding or anything else related to the tourism industry. But since we're talking about weddings here, once you have a few courageous ones that will go for weddings in Saudi Arabia, they will see what is possible. They will see the potential and what can be done in Saudi. And I think that is the best way to see what can be done for others as well. Don't take just like somebody's word, not even my words for it, but hopefully in the near future it will happen and it will be a cornerstone and a milestone for the future of this industry.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Sam. You are an amazing person, no doubt, and I'm so happy to have met you, and we'll collaborate with you in the future and all of that. I'm going to hand this over to Ananya to give a little formal thank you to you, and we'll wind up the show after that.
Thank you very much. And hopefully we will have a roundtable meeting in India soon. And when you come to Saudi Arabia, you are more than welcome as well.
I will be there soon for sure.
You're welcome.
Yes,
That was such a wonderful discussion, Sam. Thank you so much. I think we all got some insider tips from you about Saudi Arabia that we wouldn't have gotten from the website otherwise. So thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your experience and your thoughts on this topic today. And it was a pleasure talking to you. And we look forward to our collaboration.
Me too. And it was a real pleasure. And we
Thank
have
you.
to do it more often, definitely.
We definitely